crisis is underway, with extreme weather and rising sea levels threatening the lives of millions of people around the world. Essex County Council's pension fund, into which Harlow Council staff contribute and on which they will rely in their retirement, holds around £24 million worth of direct investments in fossil fuels and around £200 million worth of indirect investments. These investments are bad for the planet and they're risky for the council's staff. Mark Carney, the Governor of the Bank of England, has warned that investors relying on returns from fossil fuel investments face huge climate change losses. Will Harlow Council use its influence on the County Council's pension fund to secure a public commitment to a gradual 5-year divestment of fossil fuels in its investment strategy statement? We know it's possible because Waltham Forest and Southwark councils have made these commitments this year. Thank you very much.
Would Councillor Gammons to read his answer? Would you like to take it as read?
I'd like him to read it, please.
Thank you. Yes, I'm quite prepared to ask Essex County Council to do this. There's quite a problem with pension funds generally, and it's driven, in my opinion, by outdated ideology of infinite growth. The Essex Pension Fund consults upon its investing strategy statement. The most recent consultation closed in June 2017. Set out in the statement is the following: the fundamental responsibility of the fund is to ensure that it has adequate monies available to pay pensions as they fall due. The objective must be to achieve a cost-effective way for members and employers and the taxpayer. Moreover, in reaching decisions, the fund must comply with its fiduciary responsibilities. Under the government arrangements of the fund, the Investment Steering Committee does not place restrictions on investment managers appointed by and working on behalf of the fund in choosing investments in quoted companies, except in limiting the size of the single investments. I know from first-hand experience of trying to get Essex County Council pension fund managers to change their outdated policies about investment. With my colleague Karen Klemper, when we were on Essex County Council, we tried to persuade the pension fund to look at the advantages of ethical investment. We were turned down flat. Pension funds could do so much more to make a positive contribution to society without putting their investments at risk. So yes, I'm quite prepared to urge the course of action suggested, and thank you for your question.
Mrs. Harvey, do you have a supplementary question you'd like to ask?
Thank you, I do. Well, it's really not just ethics we're talking, it's about financial responsibility, and I reiterate the point that the staff of this council are relying on returns from investments which shouldn't be made on ethical grounds, but they should be made on financial performance grounds. My question, Mr. Danvers, is do you know that next week a major report will be released revealing every council's exposure to fossil fuel investments? That's the question. That's the question. Are you aware that there's a report next week to be released exposing every council's investments in fossil fuels? And this presents, I would suggest, a very timely opportunity to remind the council. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, because of the question, yes, I do. I think it's very important. When we look at Germany, we actually find pension funds actually making a very full contribution and keeping it local. The state governments in Germany actually have legal responsibilities for investments in the infrastructure. We're struggling with housing. We could actually make so much more. And we also see with these energy companies now that they are very frightened of what they've actually started to get into. And even companies like BP are actually reinvesting in terms from fossil fuels into things like solar panels. They are thinking of their future as well. And it's a very, very backward step for Essex County Council not to consider this future. I'm not on Essex County Council anymore, but there are colleagues who are. And if they actually have got the good interest of A, Harlow society, and B, just generally our society at heart, then they really should actually also be making representations themselves. Thank you.